Hi guys, I'm back again with another video. Welcome to my channel. My name is Patrice and we'll be discussing things I've read. And now let's get started. So the first book that's on my list for today is a book that I actually did not finish. So this is my first DNF for this channel, and the book is titled A Girl is a Body of Water, and the author was Jennifer Nansubuga Makumbi. And I will read you the overview even though I didn't finish it, just in case one of you guys have read the story, and then you can let me know if it's something I should pick up again. So here we go. Karabo, a young Ugandan girl, confronts a piercing question that's haunted her childhood. Who is my mother? Complicating these feelings of abandonment, as Karabo comes of age, she feels the emergence of a mysterious second self, a headstrong and confusing force inside her at odds with her sweet and obedient nature. So let me tell you why I didn't finish the book. So the book was long, y'all. It was over 500 pages, 544 pages to be exact. And the font was very, very tiny. And I just had so many other books that I knew I wasn't going to be able to finish it. So I'm interested in hearing if any of you guys did read it and what you thought of it. And maybe I will have to go back and get it. So the next book I'm going to talk about today is a historical fiction / romance written by Vanessa Riley, and the title is Island Queen. So first off, I love Vanessa Riley books. It's just like she writes well-written books. I like to read them. This would be the second book of hers that I've read, and the first one was Sister, Mother, Warrior, and that was about the Haitian Revolution. And I liked that book because it gave me like history about Haiti that I didn't know. So that was very interesting. And it was based off of like real life characters. So that's why I like her books as well. The overview for this story is Island Queen is a sweeping epic of an adventurer and survivor who answered to no one but herself as she rose to power and autonomy against all odds, defying rigid 18th century morality and the oppression of women and people of color. So again, these books I like because I get to learn about the customs and lives of enslaved and free Black people during this time. So this is based on the 18th century. So it was nice seeing, just what Black people had to go through during this period and how they interacted with like the colonizers of their Caribbean islands. I also like Vanessa Riley's books because at the end, she puts like a lot of notes and bibliography. She lets you know where she's gotten her research from. And again, like I said, a lot of times these are based on real life people. So it's nice getting to read about the real life people and their lives. And Vanessa, she also lets us know, like where she's taken liberties for the sake of the story, like things she may have changed and what really happened to the real life people. Another thing that I liked about this book is that the main character, Dorothy, she's a mixed race woman, but she is dark skinned. So in a lot of these stories, like slave narratives or stories about enslaved people, the mixed race characters are usually light skinned or can pass as white. So I thought this was interesting because it's about a dark skinned person of mixed race and how she had to navigate the times. The things I didn't like about the story, so we spend a lot of time on her relationships. So that's the romance part of the story, and you guys know I'm not a big romance person, although a lot of my books have romance in it. I don't know what's up with that. some of the choices Dorothy made, I just did not understand. So, for instance, one of her um, relationships, so she ended up getting pregnant, and she didn't want the father of the child to leave her, but she didn't tell him that she was pregnant, and she let him go. So it was just like she had very like poor communication skills, and she didn't want to be vulnerable, but she would get like upset with the people in her life. But it's like, well, you didn't tell them, so how did you expect them to know these things, because you didn't open up to them. Also, like I said before, we spent a lot of time on her relationships, and she just moved from man to man to man to man, child, just like, and some of them repeatedly. So some of them were like just like circling back and back and back, which makes for a lot of mess. But I don't know. Like I just wish we would have gotten more time about how she came to own her property and her businesses, and what that was like navigating that um, during that time, like especially because Black people didn't have like a lot of rights, and she was able to own property. She had multiple businesses. It just would have been nice to get more information about that. And let's see, we were also introduced to a character in the beginning of the story that kind of had it out for Dorothy. And then by the time the story was over, like I guess the character was on her side, but we didn't get like any background. Like, why didn't she like Dorothy? Like, why was she trying to make things hard for her? I just felt like that was unresolved. So overall, I gave this book a 4.8 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the next Vanessa Riley book I'm going to read. The next book we're going to talk about is The Lost Story, and this was written by Meg Shaffer. And this is a fantasy magical realism with a little bit of romance. Again, romance. But let me read you the overview. As boys, Jeremy Cox and Rafe Howell went missing in a West Virginia state forest, only to reappear 6 months later with no explanation for where they gone or how they survived. 15 years later, Rafe is a reclusive artist with no memory of what happened, and Jeremy is a famous missing persons investigator. Jeremy's newest case involves Emily Wendell, whose sister has vanished in the same forest as Jeremy and Rafe did. Jeremy alone knows the truth, that the two boys were in a magical realm filled with beauty and danger. He believes it is there that they'll find Emily's sister. Emily, Rafe, and Jeremy must return to the enchanted world to get back everything and everyone they've lost. So likes. So this story was inspired by the Chronicles of Narnia, and that's one of my favorite fantasy series. I like the world building in this story, so we got like a lot of background, but we did not get how the magic works. So I'm trying not to give away too much. So we know that there's this magical world, but we don't know like how it came to be. Like that's never explained. It's sort of explained, but not really. Um, the One of my main dislikes with the story is, of course, there's a big focus on Jeremy and Rafe, um, and how their relationship progresses. So again, there's some romanticy here, and I really don't like that. And then we don't get enough of a focus on Emily and her sister. So her sister's name is Shannon. And we don't really get a focus on their relationship and how it grows, or you know, just to focus on them coming together and I guess like getting to know each other after being separated for so long. So I felt like this book had a lot of potential, but it just wasn't executed very well. I was looking for, I guess, more magic. There's enough in here um, where it could have been a very good story, but I just feel like the author left us a little flat. I did give the book a 3.9 out of 5 stars. So I'll probably round it to a 4. But it just seemed like there was, like, the ending left me flat too. And it was just a setup for another book that's going to come later. So the last book in this video is a mystery thriller written by Peter Swanson, and the title is The Kind Worth Killing. So let me read you the overview. On a flight from London to Boston, Ted Severson meets Lily Kittner. Ted tells Lily all about his life, and his playful banter takes a turn when he half-seriously says he'd like to kill his wife. Lily surprises him by saying she'd like to help. Lily has her own dark history that she's not sharing with Ted. As they move forward with their plan, Ted begins to fall in love with Lily, and they are pulled into a lethal game of cat and mouse. So this story I really like. So in my previous video, I told you about another Peter Swanson book that I read called A Talent for Murder, and that's where I was introduced to Lily. And in that story, you know, we didn't really get a lot of Lily's backstory, so I just felt like I was missing something. So now this is the first book in that series. The Kind Worth Killing is the first book of the Lily Kittner series. And I really enjoyed this. I did like this book. So let me go over what I liked about it. So we get Lily's backstory, and she is a psycho. When I say crazy, she's crazy. And I liked it. There are lots of twists in this story. Predictable, but there are twists. And I like that it's written from multiple viewpoints. So you get multiple character viewpoints. What I didn't like about the story was that, again, it was predictable. Like, you could kind of guess, like, you know, if there was going to be a twist, what the twist was going to be. So you kind of knew. But also, Ted and Lily were very naive. Like, it's like they're doing all this plotting, but they were not plotting about the right things. It's like, hello, like, you're trying to get somebody and you didn't think they may be trying to get you? That's crazy. I just can't. I don't know. That is just unbelievable right there. Out of all of the characters in the story, so it's kind of like they're all like a little bit crazy, and it's hard to believe that all these psycho crazy people are like in each other's orbits. Like, usually you run into 1 to 2 crazy people. Like, they're not just all, like, it's like 4 of them like in each other's circles. Like, how does that happen? That's a little bit like unbelievable too. The characters were interchangeable. So what I mean by that is that if you did not have the headings telling you who each character was that you were reading about at the time, like, you could have changed out the names and you wouldn't have even noticed, you know? So for instance, like Lily's voice, and there's another character named Miranda. Like, if you switch their title chapters, like, you wouldn't have been able to tell that, I guess. So what, I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the characters all sounded the same. Like, like the author didn't make, I guess they all had the same voice. That's what I'm trying to say. They all had the same voice, the same actions. They spoke the same. The characters were not likable. So, like it's hard to have any sympathy for any of these guys because, yeah, I didn't care if they died or lived. Like it was just crazy. And the ending was kind of unbelievable. So all I'm gonna say is there's a policeman involved, and Lily, and some stalking, and yeah, I, yeah, the ending's totally unbelievable. Like what happened, but again, I did enjoy the book, and I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. So even with all of those dislikes, it was still a good read. Like, I don't know, I just like Peter Swanson. I like his mystery thrillers. They aren't too gory, and they give it's enough twist to keep you like guessing, like, oh my gosh, like I gotta finish this. So that's why I liked it. And that is the end of this video. And if you've made it to the end, if you could just tell me what you thought of these books, if you've read any of them. Tell me what you're reading and any recommendations you may have for me. Again, thank you for watching, and I will see you the next time. Bye bye.